Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Casas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 110. This is the official podcast of BDSM, Big Dom Smith Moments, that is also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. All your podcast platforms, hit the subscribe button and rate us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. And as always, you can head over to YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. Play Tessie playlist within there. Hit the thumbs up on those videos. And if you're watching there already, go to your podcast platform, subscribe there. Also, socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. Tons of good content coming out all the time on those. Gordo's back from Texas. I'm here with Sammy, here with Pat. Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Royals, though they finished the series with a loss, which we were discussing before the podcast. Pat found out that has only happened 2 times this season before this series. So it's just the 3rd time that the Red Sox won the first 2 games of a series, securing a win, and then lost the 3rd one, securing the not as good vibes for at least the start of the podcast. But summing it up, they got the series win they needed. They got the tiebreaker against the Royals. It doesn't feel like too long ago they lost 7 of 9 coming out of the All-Star break, but since then they've won 3 straight series, 6 of 9 overall, winning 4 out of 6 on the road trip, and now getting the day off, coming back home, facing Houston. Just a game and a half out of a playoff spot, but a team that is really confident and feels really good about itself. You heard Will Middlebrooks on the broadcast talking about Chris Martin, talking about how sure he was that this team was going to go on a run at the end, and he wanted to be good to go for it. We talked to guys at the ballpark, and they are uber confident. So, yeah, they're not going to win every game. It's baseball, but you got to take it series by series. And the fact that in the 2 series they faced Kansas City, they secured wins both times despite facing their 3 stud pitchers every time, or both times. You got to take it. Sammy, Pat, does that sum it up? Like, does that kind of sum up where we're at?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that would happen in life that you could compare to winning 2 out of 3 games in a series, but you lose the last one. Could be like you do a driving test and you get a perfect score, and then you crash when you're trying to park.
Yeah, or I was going to say,
then you'd lose the series.
I would say it's more like you buy like a $5 scratch ticket and win $5. Like you hit. I mean, you got your money back, but it's like you wanted more, you know?
What if it's like $7? You still make a profit. You feel good, but
yeah.
Not that great.
Okay, here's another one. You're taking an online like college quiz and like you're in school, and it like tells you whether you're right after each answer, and you're 8 for 8, but then you miss the next 2, so you only get an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I like that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, what'd you ask me? How am I feeling? I'm good. I'm not gonna ever complain about winning a series. It stinks to lose the last one, but whatever. They gained a game on the Royals, the team that's ahead of them in the wild card hunt, and they got the tiebreaker. And they have the tiebreaker over Seattle as well. So 2 tiebreakers in back-to-back series. That could be key down the stretch. It's just comforting to know you got it. So, yeah, no complaints from me. Good series, progress, coming home. Another big series coming up.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 series, we've said the same thing. You have to win this series. They've done just that. They've won 3 in a row. Would a sweep have been awesome today? Of course it would have. Of course it would have. But they gained ground. They got the tiebreaker. They've won the last 3 series. They've rebounded from that absolute catastrophic stretch after the All-Star break. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to feel good. It's weird because it's coming off a loss, but it's 2 out of 3. That's all you wanted.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, the one loss is the Reagan start. Like, we know the Red Sox in general, although they've been better lately, they have trouble against lefties, and obviously no Tyler O'Neill. So, losing the Reagan's game, if you're going to lose one, like, that's the one you expected to lose. And that's the way it happened last time, too.
a pretty encouraging performance by the offense against Reagan's. He didn't look overly dominant. He looked good still, but they didn't look overmatched or anything. That was the big concern game for me. And of course, they did go on to lose it. But the things I was concerned about didn't really happen. But we'll dig into that one more soon.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm just remembering your tweet about the peanut butter. Sammy had said that if they won this game, he was gonna lather himself up in peanut butter and run around town. Very honestly, now I'm more disappointed than I was before.
I mean, that was one of those. This game is the one. There's been 2 games where I said I'll go nuts if the Red Sox win these. One was today, Reagan's versus Crawford in the middle of the worst stretch of his career, and then Nick Lodolo at home was the other one. Lodolo and the Red Sox were not hitting lefties at all. They actually won that one, so I was thrilled, but I did not lather myself in peanut butter. Oof, that came out wrong. Peanut butter and run around town. Would have done it tonight. We probably would have been delayed by 45 to 85 minutes had the Red Sox won, but sorry, boys.
It would have been okay. Also, the last Reagan's one might have even been less winnable because that one was like Reagan's versus, I think it was Criswell. That was the first game of the series, though. The Lodolo one was the last one. It's always like the Lodolo one. They'd split the first 2, but whatever. We can get into this series. It started with James Paxton on the mound going up against Brady Singer. Wait, was Singer the first one? Yeah, Singer was the first.
Yeah,
Lugo
Singer
was the second. And all things considered, I thought he looked pretty good. They kind of flipped the script and had him throwing a lot of the breaking stuff, which I think was good. I don't think Kansas City ever really adjusted to it. The velo for Paxton is not close to what it was in his start against the Red Sox when he was touching 96. But if he can throw that breaking pitch for strikes and guys aren't going to sit on it, all we can ask is that he gets you through a game, and he more than did that. He ate 6 innings, only a couple of runs allowed. So I thought all things considered, he looked all right.
Yeah, he was solid. He didn't look too great in the first inning, a little shaky, and then he just locked it in from there. Middlebrooks and Monica were talking about how he kind of, heats up as the game goes on. A lot of guys are the other way around where, they start hot and then they fade. We saw that tonight with like Kutter Crawford. But no, Paxton looked good. I did notice as the game went on, his windup, he would get more athletic in his windup. It looked in the first 2 innings or so like he was a little bit stiff out there. And then by like the 4th inning, he was all crouched down when he was throwing. The velocity was up. Super interesting, I guess, path that this game took for him. But like you said, Gordo, all things considered, pretty good outing. Needed it. Got it.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, the defense behind him was much better than his first start back with the Sox, which was huge. Saves and pitches, builds confidence, so on and so forth. But yeah, I think he did his job plus more. 6 innings, 2 earned, only walked 1. Command looks good. The velo's not there yet, but if you're tricking guys with the off-speed stuff, you still have your command. It's all you need out of the 5th spot. That's why they got him.
Yeah.
You bring up the defense, and God, that Ceddanne catch. Insane. And he made 2 insane catches in this series. With the third game having that one where he dove forward and got the double play off it. But that first catch, and screw the catch probability stuff. Like I really couldn't care less about it. That catch was so spectacular, just running backwards and kind of just, it almost looked like he was just guessing, flailing his arm backhanded to make the play. But at that moment in the game, it was so big too. Like this game got to be 8-2, and it you almost remember it like it was a blowout, but like that was a big moment of the game. Jarren Duran with a 2-out, 2-run double in the 6th inning to give the Red Sox the lead was huge. Like there were big moments in this game. Like Monaco and Will were talking the whole game about, the playoff implications, the sort of playoff feel and atmosphere that the game had. And it was like it was there until the Red Sox broke it open. Like there were big moments in the game before it got out of hand.
Yeah, it's good to have games like that feel big. We were talking about earlier in the year how for a few of us, I'll speak for myself though, the goal for this team, I just wanted them to be playing meaningful games. I think I believe I said in August and September, so I'm already in the can't complain zone. And that's what this game felt like. That Rafaela catch, which producer Joe is playing for us, if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a like. That looks like a catch that would be made in a video game, and then you would say, that's really dumb. Nobody catches the ball like that. Stupid game. But it was real. So Rafaela just every night, I feel like, makes a crazy play. I think he said that he lost this one in the lights. So he came forward his first few steps. Then he had to make up ground. Just the angle the ball was hit, it happened. So just a freakish defensive talent. Shortstop, center field, second base, third base this year. He's played all over. So, yeah, we are very lucky we get this guy for a long time.
Yeah. Forgot who was at the plate there. Michael Garcia hit that. If that ball gets down, he's on third. And that's in a tie game in the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only catch, I was thinking, the only other catch in recent memory, because, I mean, like, Jim Edmonds did that shit weekly, but only other catch in memory where I can literally remember someone's kind of like throwing a glove up and stabbing it like that. Do you remember Renfro's catch when he was with the Angels? He was in right field. That's the only catch I can remember being like, what the fuck did he just do? That's the only other catch I can remember, like, leaving me like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was an interesting catch because I don't think we've seen like a backhand running kind of jump at the same time catch like that. Like, how do you even describe that catch to someone?
Like, it wasn't over his head. Like, it wasn't like a reaching back. Like, it was like off of his hip. Like, it makes no sense.
Was that on opening day?
The Renfro one?
Yeah, I think so. Sounds right.
Ohtani pitching, I think.
The thing with the Rafaela catches, I saw a lot of people trying to discredit it because there's some metric that was like the catch percentage, blah, blah, blah. He admitted it. He fucked up. Like I said, the fact that he was able to recognize that he made a mistake and make up for it in the moment, I think that's impressive in and of itself. Guy's not perfect. And if anyone's played baseball, like, the ball gets caught in the lights. It doesn't matter what level you're at. That's always difficult. So I give Rafaela full credit. But I do think that catch he made today in game 3, that might have been better. Probably was better. And he turned it into a double play. I don't know if you guys agree. It's not as flashy looking, but I thought that was a more impressive play.
It was less probable. Like, and not even just, I'm not even just talking about the numbers. Like, I'm talking about, like, actually, like, looking at the ball. Like, that ball was a hit all day, every day. Yeah. And I wish, and, like, I know that the Red Sox roster, as it stands now, doesn't allow for it, but I really do wish we could see him out in center field every day. Because, like, he's, like, passable at short. He is elite in center.
Yeah.
And, like, there's no way
conversation
to do it,
earlier this year where we were saying we were hesitant to even talk about putting him at shortstop because you need him playing that center field defense. And of course, not really his call. The defense was so bad they had to. But yeah, I think the future is going to be him in center field. I don't think there's any chance that they plan on keeping him at short.
Yeah. I think the other thing with Rafaela too is he plays a good shortstop. He plays a phenomenal center field. And it sucks because when you look at his WAR and his metrics and, like, the advanced stuff on Baseball Savant, like, he doesn't look like he's a stud. It's because his average shortstop eats alive his great center field. Like, I'm looking right now. His outs above average is 3rd percentile. His fielding value is 18th percentile. Like,
yeah, you can't. It's hard for a guy who moves back and forth like that.
Shortstop. It's like,
he
is, and this is why I don't like when I see people saying, oh, like, maybe the move is to trade Marcelo Meyer and make Ceddanne your shortstop of the future, because where can he make he's definitely grown his game offensively, like, honestly, way better than I thought he could have done it in year 1. But his true impact is in the field, and it's in the outfield. If he's at shortstop, he can be a fine player. If he's in the outfield, he can be an impact player. Like, you want to fill your team with those guys.
If you had him go into spring training as a shortstop and prepare as a shortstop and made him the everyday shortstop, I feel like he'd quickly become a maybe not the best shortstop in baseball defensively, but a fine above average defender at short.
Yeah. He could be good, but it, like,
great.
You've got a spot right there where he like literally is elite already.
Yeah, he's got to be the center fielder. I think I don't even think that's a conversation that anyone within the Red Sox is having.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to, and God, we'll have this conversation maybe 250 times this offseason, but like what is your outfield alignment next year? And what is your plan for whenever Roman Anthony arrives? Like, those conversations are going to happen. and all I'll say about that right now, because we shouldn't go down that road right now, but all I'll say about that right now is my solution is not Ceddanne is your shortstop and you trade Meyer.
No.
But yeah, he is. It is a joy to get to watch him play center field when we do get to watch. I mean, the stats about him playing basically equal center field and shortstop are crazy. And don't sleep on the. They have the luxury to do that because of the step forward that Jarren Duran took in center field. Because when we were initially talking about moving Ceddanne to short, I think I was the most. Well, actually, I know I was the most hesitant out of all of us to do it. And part of the reason for that was because I didn't want to see the center field defense downgrade so much, because what we'd seen from Jarren in years past was either average the year before or way below average in years before that. This year, he's in some numbers the best defensive center fielder in baseball. So, I mean, good for the Sox. They whatever they do, it's worked.
These are good problems to have. Too much talent.
It's like the bullpen discussion when Martin was going to get activated. It's like we're all talking about who's going to get option. It's like, wow, like a week ago we were talking about, oh my God, this team has no bullpen. They're blowing every game. They don't have any back end relievers. And now it's like, which really good reliever do we option? Yeah.
And Slayton's coming back too. We hope.
Yeah, get ready. Have the same conversation again.
Love it.
But all right, let's Sox win that game 9-5. The pass squatch came out, but didn't matter. I hate that thing. That thing's so stupid. It should only come out for homers.
I'll say it. I like it. I think it's a great gimmick. Seeing that big oaf walk around the field, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm all the way in. I'm
kind of a pass watch guy. I'm a believer.
Okay. Do you like it because it's so small and stupid? Would you like it less if they'd like made like a full mascot Wally style out of it? Because it literally looks like a guy just wearing a mask.
No, it has to come out of the woods. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the beauty. You just said it, Gordo. It's such like a last minute. Oh, this might be a good idea. Go to like iParty and see if you can find a Sasquatch costume. And then they just have this sweaty guy walk out, show face, go back in. I liken it to like the Brewers slide. Like I like it because it's something so obscure.
Did you see on Nesson when Pasquatch was hitting, the player Pasquatch was hitting, they panned to the little shed or whatever that the guy and you could see through the crack in the door, the guy's staring, just getting ready to come out. You could see his eyes in the mask. The dude's a nut, whoever he is. But
dude, they definitely because he has to be at every home game. Dude, they definitely just pay that guy in like Bud Light, and they're like, just wear the costume. You can drink all night. If he has an RBI, you run out.
He's the equivalent of like the Fenway scoreboard operator, except he gets to come out like. But he comes out like after he does anything.
Wait, what if it's a single?
The guy in the Pasquatch costume.
I thought I saw him come out after a single.
He's a VIK employee. You know what VIK is? Value in kind or whatever. It's when you get paid. Like his payment is like you get to go to the Royals game. Like they don't. It's like the value in product, benefits, or services is like the technical definition. But like that's him. Yeah, they don't pay him cash. They're like, here's a hot dog. That's actually a pretty good costume. That's not like a Party City. That looks like a legit.
You know what? I might have to take it back. It is a little bit more like mascotty of a costume than I thought. From a distance, when they first started showing him, it literally just like looked like a guy wearing a mask.
I love it. I think it's funny. What is happening in this imaginary world they're making? The Sasquatch, the Pasquatch, is not really a Royals fan. He's just a Vinny Pasquantino fan. It'll come out when he does something great, but the other guys on the team doesn't really give a shit. I love it. I think it's crazy.
Royals are down 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Bobby Witt hits a walk-off grand slam, and the dude is unbothered. Down 7, Pasquantino hits a single, and he's out to party.
He's like going nuts. I love it. I'm a big Pasquatch guy. The more we talk about it, the more I'm all in on the Pasquatch. I wish the Red Sox had like a Pasquatch equivalent.
You guys sold me.
Would be the Red Sox equivalent.
Ooh, I think it would be.
A walking pig, like because pigs are ham. So anytime David Hamilton does something, it's like Hammy's coming out.
Cat. Or like just a hot dog costume for Thick Willie.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But if they had a
Get
bunch
some
of
big
like
meat.
5'8" yoked dudes in Macho Man costumes, and they march around the Green Monster when Masa does something.
What
like
about
that.
a bunch of scissors for Kutter Crawford?
Throw scissors onto the field.
Oh yeah, just humming scissors at the opposing team. Whenever
What
Kutter
if
strikes you out, you get scissors thrown at you.
Oh, I got it. Pat, you're gonna love this. Every time there's a BDSM, a Big Dom Smith moment, you have a
Oh yeah.
guy
Oh my God, you have a
dressed in
guy on
all
a
leather.
leather swing.
Yeah,
You have a
leather
guy-
swing. He swings off the monster. He's like, woohoo!
He like zip lines down.
He's in the gimp suit from Pulp Fiction.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So that's the Red Sox equivalent. Is it?
God, it's so many possibilities.
Oh man, this is a great idea. Pat's gone.
They should hire us.
Yeah. Let's. Anyway,
Game 2.
Game 2. Yeah, that happened as well. Let's talk about it.
So Game 2, also back to Game 1. Yoshida had 4 hits. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hits a bomb in Game 2. He's like, I was thinking about this today, Sammy. When was the last time you complained, and by you I mean any of us, complained about Masa rolling over to second?
I don't think since the Dodgers series, or maybe. So I remember he came out with the mint cleats, and in my head I thought, oh, he's gonna get hot. He's got mint cleats on, and then he didn't right away, and then he just caught fire. So probably it's been like 5 series since I've complained about that. A long time.
It feels like he's just getting the ball in the air every time at this point.
Yeah. I love Middlebrooks's breakdown of his A swing, his B swing, and then his kind of put the ball in play swing. Pretty cool how it's very noticeable with Yoshida. I probably wouldn't have noticed it had he not mentioned it, but now that I know.
I love the A swing. He's got like the Griffey follow through. Like,
oh, it's so loopy and pure. It's such a beautiful swing.
He has like the ballerina hand finish.
Yeah.
He's cool. I mean, we've been critical of Yoshida on this show, rightfully so, but nobody has ever denied that he can hit. And when he's on, it's great. It's fun to watch because you feel so good about it every time he comes up. Like at the very least, he's going to put the ball in play.
Yeah. I mean, how many, like, let's say he got hot in July. So how many months straight was he not? It was basically like August and September of last year, and then April, May, June, although he was hurt for some of that. But that was basically 5 months of baseball games straight without Masa Yoshida producing pretty much at all. So like, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was unfair of us to, and like, at least I'll say, I won't speak for you guys, but I know I practically wrote him off, and I don't think that was unfair, but it's not like there was no, like, it felt mechanical.
What do you mean you wrote him off? Like, I don't think you ever for a second would say, like, this guy's not a major league quality hitter. I think the reason we were down on Yoshida, and probably still are to a degree, is just the skill set is limited. He hits, not a ton of power, no speed at all, no defense, very weak arm.
It's like I didn't write him. You're right, Sammy. I didn't write him off as a big league hitter because even when he wasn't producing, it was still like, oh, this guy's pretty much league average from an OPS plus standpoint. But yeah, you're right. Like, that can't be your DH. That can't be a guy that does not play the field at all and doesn't run the bases well. So yeah, I wrote him off as like I don't think he's going to be
one of the
an
main
above
guys.
average hitter.
Yeah. And
he is an above average hitter right now.
This would also be a much, much, much bigger conversation too if Jarren Duran was not playing so well. Because when you're really banking on Masa's bat, when you didn't really know what you were going to get from Duran, and he's floundering, he's hurt, he comes back and he's still not hitting, like, it's a glaring hole at that point. But where you have other guys stepping up, Rafi's having arguably the best season of his career, Duran has progressed into a superstar. Like, there's stuff there to kind of make up the ground. But I think we were in the right. Like, his skill set is not a DH skill set. And when you're banking on a bat, you're paying the guy $18 million a year. you're banking on to be good. And when you don't see that for 3 months after a not great first 2 months last year, I don't know. I still am in the boat where he's not a DH. But that being said, when he is on, the lineup is a lot longer and a lot more dangerous.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. I still, even like obviously it gets harder to think like this when he plays so well because you want him on the team when he's playing well. But I'm still of the mindset of get to the finish line playing like this so that the Red Sox can trade him and align the roster the way it probably should be.
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, love the way he's playing because, I mean, it's been huge for the Red Sox, and we'll get to series MVP, but he's going to be my vote. Yeah, they're a different line. They're a deeper lineup when he's hitting like this. It's just it's a different dynamic, and not for nothing, he's been hitting lefties better than a lot of their lefties have been. Like, to me, it's not even really much of a decision anymore when they're facing a left-handed pitcher. Like, he deserves those DH starts over Dom and Willier, the other lefties you could pick from. So, I mean, just props to Yoshida, just pretty much taking the second game into his own hands because he had the 2 RBI single also in this game. So he had 4 hits in the first game and then 2 super key hits in the second game. But before we talk about the moment of the game, I do want to get your guys' takes on Brayan Bello in the second game because for the most part, he looked good. But at the same time, you think back to his last start against the Mariners, I thought it was maybe his best start of the season, but then in the final inning, he put a couple guys on with 1 out. Lucas Sims bailed him out, so we didn't think really twice about it. And then in this game, he kind of fell apart in, what was it? It was the 5th inning. He fell apart in the 5th inning. It's kind of become, I mean, even though this is the best stretch that Bello's put together this season, we are still seeing him kind of run out of, I don't know if it's running out of gas or whatever it is, but at the end of starts, it hasn't been his best. And I feel like I'm getting really nitpicky with him because I don't know if you guys disagree with this, but I feel like he's been the Red Sox best starter for maybe a month now. Pat's looking at me like I'm crazy. Do you disagree with that?
He had 6 starts in July, 4 quality starts. I don't know. I wouldn't say, best pitcher, maybe.
But like, it's more so
default.
comparative to the other guys who have just, like no one else has really been that good. It's like, it's that.
Yeah. And then Pavetta's been super up, super down, where I think Bello's been, I wouldn't even call it consistent, just not as up and down the last month.
He's consistent in doing like the exact same thing every start. If you told me pick a start to show a baseball fan what watching Brayan Bello is like, I'd show them this start against the Royals. He starts out looking unbelievable. Fastball's like 96, 97. Changeup looks great. He's using the slider as well. He's cruising, gives up a run, locks back in. You're like, okay, cool. And then it all unravels in the 5th inning. That was the quintessential Brayan Bello start. And Pat, I would disagree with you. I would say he's been consistent.
True.
It's just consistently not what you're looking for.
But like, it's not what it. Okay. Yes, that, but in the sense that we just like, you watch the guy pitch and you see what he does and you know what he's capable of. I feel like that's why we like Bello's another guy we've been pretty hard on this year, but like, it's just because we can see what he can do. The stuff is great. And,
but it's also
you see
why
the results.
It's also why we're not freaking out about it. Because you could clearly see the kid's talented. He's also very young and learning, and we are very well aware of that. So I think it's a situation where no need to panic. Just hope he figures it out sooner rather than later. Yeah,
and it feels like it's like I don't want to say every start he makes progress, but like you feel like every month he makes progress. So, and the fact that because he's a guy that burned out last year, like you look at his second half numbers, not even close to what he did in the first half. The fact that as other guys are starting to show signs of maybe fatigue, like Pavetta's getting his start skipped because his fastball was down just over 2 miles an hour in his start in Texas. And while you see guys doing that, Bello, a guy who he did have 1 short IL stint, but he pretty much has thrown the entire season this year, and his stuff's not ticking down. Like he is still going strong, and we're approaching mid-August. Like to get these guys to the territory of becoming potential 200 inning guys you can rely on deep into the season and hopefully into October, you got to have what Bello did last year to get to where Bello is at this year. and then to hopefully get to where he's going to be next year. It's a process. It's not like very few of these guys are elite deep into the season right off the bat. Like it takes like a special kind of crazy to get that.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's even close to time to be concerned about Bayo long term. Hey, if you're concerned about him figuring it out this year, sure, I don't blame you. But
yeah,
I'm going the other way. I'm looking up with him. I've liked what we've seen lately. I know the end of starts hasn't been good, but we were basically seeing like traffic and bad innings like more often than not. In term, like every other inning was like a bad inning for him. And now it's like he's basically putting together great starts. And now it's like, how do we get him through that last hurdle? Like it feels like he's right there.
It's. I feel like we've been saying this for months, though. I agree with you. I think he'll figure it out. I just don't know if it's going to be this year because this has been beyond a trend at this point.
Well, what is figure it out? Are you talking about Reach's potential? Because he's not. You're right. He's not doing that.
Figure it out. Like consistently go 5-6 innings without giving up 4+ runs. Like quality starts. Give them quality starts on a fairly normal basis. I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen this year. It wouldn't shock me if it did. If I'm betting on it, I'd say probably not.
Well, he's been like kind of delivering. I got to look this up, but hasn't he been delivering quality starts like almost every time, basically since the start of July?
Yeah, July he had 4 out of 6, but we've seen that. He's had good months before it, but he's never had a month where it's like, holy shit, he's figured it out.
Yeah, I don't know if we're
July,
getting that.
He would have little stinker starts here and there where he'd go 4 innings and get beat up a little bit, or 5, I think, in July was his minimum. But still, it wasn't that kind of month where you feel amazing about it. It was okay, good improvements, and then it feels like he's back to same old a little bit here. But
yeah,
time to go.
I don't think there's been a start really at any point this year where I've watched Bayo and said to myself, okay, he's figured it out. Like every time it's like, okay, that's a little bit better than last time. Like there's like marginal improvements, but not one start this year have I been like, he's figured something out. He looks phenomenal. I don't think he's looked phenomenal this year, really, in any start.
I've said it in the middle of some starts, but every time I've said it in the middle, it's like something happens and then it's
right. Always the unwinding. Yeah,
but that's a small step.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that like he's middle of the start, he looks great, starts off slow, figures it out. You're like, all right, here he goes, tails off. It's just this has been so common with him, but he's the biggest silver lining guy on the team. We never come away from his outings, or I should say rarely come away from his outings feeling like, oh man, this guy is in trouble. We always feel like this guy's on the verge of figuring it out. And I still feel that way. I just don't know if we're going to see him put together July-like months consistently for these next 2 months to round out the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how his September goes, just especially after last year. But he's allowed 3 earned or less in 6 of his last 7. But obviously in Kansas City, he doesn't finish the 5th. In New York, he only went 5. The walks are still kind of problematic, but overall, I think it's looking up, but obviously still plenty of room to grow there. So, but we got to talk about the moment of the series. The moment of the series, the ultimate, the Dom Smith slide.
Yes.
In a tie game. Yeah. In a big moment. This was the ultimate no, yes moment ever, because never in a no, yes moment has the no lasted longer than the no lasted in this, because we were sitting there for in the first like minute and a half of replays they showed, it looked like he was clearly out. So if you didn't see the play, ball gets by the catcher, Dom Smith's on third in a tie game. He takes a step towards home, stops, takes a step towards home, stops again. Basically looks like he's going to hold up and then decides, oh, I'm going to go for it. And was basically going to be out by a mile when Seth Lugo has the ball to tag him, and takes like maybe the least athletic slide I've seen. But somehow the tumbling in his slide allowed one of his hands to just slip into home plate before Lugo's glove could get on him. So maybe after 4 minutes of no, they overturn the call, give the Red Sox the run, and there comes the yes. But one of the moments of the season, capped off by the Red Sox Twitter tweeting out something about BDSM, parentheses, Big Dom Smith moments. I wish I had the tweet in front of me. We'll have to find the tweet and read it off. That was just a pure electric factory in every facet of the definition of an electric factory.
Dude, I love how everyone loves Dom Smith.
I
He
know.
is so beloved. I don't think we're able to accurately explain to him that he's become kind of cult hero-ish in Boston, kind of like Willie Mo Pena-ish, where maybe he's not the best guy on the field, but he's got moments and the fans just gravitate towards him. He's so liked and it's so deserved. I'm happy for the guy.
Right when Pablo Reyes died, Dom Smith was born.
Pablo walked so he could run.
Yes. It must have been right around the same time, too.
Wait.
Also, who posted? Someone did him so dirty. It was Major League Baseball or the Red Sox. That picture of him standing at first, where he's like slumped over and you can see his belly. Come on, leave my guy alone. Who did? Like, oh man, I was like, that's not cool. Don't do it. But he would probably find that funny. And people were giving him the ideal Bill body treatment.
The best one is the picture of him in the mirror. That's by far the best one.
Oh yeah, with the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
kind of mewing, kind of like.
Yeah. The
little
tweet,
baby girl face.
Chad.
The tweet for anyone who didn't see it from the Red Sox before they deleted it said, "Anyone who loves BDSM (parentheses Big Dom Smith moments) end parentheses is our friend without introduction." Elite tweet. I wish they just like left it up at that point. There's no point in deleting tweets. Like, it's out there. Just
let's go leather socks.
Yeah, the Boston leather socks. Oh god,
man! I love how on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, when you delete a tweet, it's still there and it just says this post has been deleted.
Yeah, which makes it
just
infinitely
on
funnier.
Yourself more.
But yeah, I mean, if he's out on that play, you don't get the 2-run single from Massa. The Red Sox end up winning this game by 1. They don't win that game without that Dom Smith slide. So big shouts to Dom. We love Dom.
Do we know the video coordinator? I'm looking on the Red Sox staff, and I don't want to get the wrong guy.
I forget his name. They interviewed him before the game. He was really thankful that AC has so much faith in him.
Well, the guy's amazing at it.
Yeah, superstar. They had that. They snapped their fingers and then replayed that. But
is it Mike Ganley?
Yeah,
it is.
Wait, I thought it was Mike like GR. How you spell the last name?
Janley.
No, I think it's someone else.
Mike Reagan?
No.
I don't know. I don't know who does the video directing analysis, but they're great. Great job.
Before we move to game 3, just quick shout. I mean, Luis Garcia pitched back-to-back and definitely didn't have his best stuff in the second game. Part of that attributed to having to go in the first game, which was because Criswell couldn't finish the 3-inning save. A few guys had to go in game 1. Lucas Sims was up 3 different times, which is probably why he was likely unavailable for game 2. Garcia almost coughed it up, but Kenley comes in the 8th, slams the door there, comes out in the 9th, and has one of his better innings of the season. A 4-out save, probably in a 1-run game. That might be his best outing of the season. So shouts to Kenley. But in the interest of time, we'll do game 3 real quick, and then we'll do series MVP before we get out of here. I feel like the story of this one is just Kutter not being himself. It's been 3 starts in a row where just the long ball eats him alive. What's interesting though is like you expect it because he's like approaching that innings career high. I don't know. Is he there yet? Do we know if he's passed it yet?
Oh, he's at 100. I have his innings up.
Yeah, he passed it today. I'm pretty sure he passed it today.
He on the year is at 131 in the third, which has to be a career high.
I think that's his career high.
His career high was 129.1 before today, so he passed it today.
And
but what's
worth mentioning, just because we're gonna divulge into this, I pulled up his game log because I was curious just to see kind of if it was the home runs killing him and it was just shit, or if it was just bad outings. July 13th was his last good outing. 7 shutout, 4 strikeouts, no home runs allowed. At that point in time, Kutter Crawford had a 3.04 ERA. Since then, he has made 4 starts. His ERA has gone up 1.03 runs. Those 4 starts were 5 innings, 6 earned, 5 home runs allowed, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs. 5 earned, 3 home runs. And then 5 1/3, 5 earned, 6 hits, 4 home runs. And then tonight was more of the same. It was 3 2/3, 6 earned, 4 walks.
That's where it starts with me, because I was looking into the velocity stuff, because with the innings thing, you default to he's getting fatigued. But his velocity was actually up a half a mile an hour tonight. And it hasn't really been down in this run at all. So I don't want to default to the fatigue thing and think that this is just like who he's going to be. You saw the command. There were a lot of uncompetitive pitches. There were a lot of walks, and there were a lot of balls over the middle of the plate. This is where Andrew Bailey's got to step in. And he talked about that net. He talked before the season about having a net under these guys so that when they stumble, you catch them right there, and it's maybe just a bad couple innings or maybe a bad start, and then you get them back on track, get them right on the balance beam, and not have them fall 4 stories and have to get them all the way back up. I don't know if it's a mechanical thing. I weirdly don't think it's a fatigue thing. I feel like that's why they're skipping Pavetta's start down 2.2 miles an hour. That flagged something with the Red Sox, and they're like, okay, we're going to get him to skip a start. His arm is tired. We got to do that with him. With Kutter, I don't know if it's that. They're going to have to work on stuff. He could benefit from extra time to work on things, but I don't know that I'm going to default to the fatigue thing.
I think it's a scouting report thing, because he gets to 2 strikes on everyone. He looks good for most of all the at-bats, and then he can't put guys away, and guys just keep fouling off pitches, or they square it up eventually, and they see so much of his repertoire the first 2 times around. The third time, don't even think about it. So I that's what I think it is. I think he's got to change the pitch mix, and that's a difficult task, because he was cruising for so long, and then maybe there's a tell or a pattern or something. I just feel like if it's not velocity and we don't think it's fatigue, then it would have to be a scouting report thing. So I agree with you, Gordo. Andrew Bailey, this is where he has to use that net. We might need a bigger net.
Yeah. I think the other thing too with Kutter, and I said it last episode, is he relies so much on deception because he hides the ball so well. If you see a lot of pitches in the bat and you see him a third time through, you can pick up on small little things. So this is going to be a Bailey thing, because the velo's there, the stuff's still moving, guys are just catching up to it and getting on him. And it's hard to deceive guys when they're seeing so many pitches in a limited repertoire. So he's got to figure something out, whether it be pitch mix or messing with timing, like something where he can just give himself a little bit more to deceive hitters.
Maybe there's something there with that sweeper. He was using it a lot early in the season, and I know they've gone away from it a little bit. He's using it less now, I'm gonna have to dig into this a little more. But there was an at bat, I think it might have been against Michael Garcia, and they were throwing sweepers at him all series, and he couldn't touch any of them. But it looked good, and I don't know. I got to look into the usage. There's something there. I don't think we've seen the last of good Kutter this year, but it's not something that it feels to me like it's been long enough where it's not like I'm going to expect him to go 7 shut in his next start. Before we get to the MVP, rank the starters right now 1 through 5 in terms of how you feel when they take the mound, like who you're most confident in to least on a given day. Like if they were starting, who would you want starting? I don't want to say who would you want starting game 1 of a postseason series, but just like right now.
The game 1 of the Astros series, like if I could choose, if everyone was equal rest, or like a big game that you really want to win. It's not the playoffs yet, an important game.
Yes, but like what I'm trying to get at is I don't want you to default to Houck has earned it because he's had such a good year. It's like, who do you feel the best about right now?
Okay. Want me to go first?
I know my answer. I can just rip it off.
Let's hear it.
I'm still going Tanner Houck because
me too.
even when he is not great and he's giving up runs, he's giving you length. So after the break, he went 6 innings, 4 earned. He got hit around. He lit up 10 hits, but 6 innings, 4 earned. You can live with that. Next outing, 6 innings, 3 earned. So even better. It's a quality start. And then last outing was not great. 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned. I think you can live with the damage that Houck lets up. I don't think you can live with the damage that guys like Kutter and Bayo and Pivetta have been letting up.
So give me the rest of your 5 then. So
I would go Houck at this point in time.
Yeah, right now. Doesn't have to be your full season. It's just right now.
I think Pivetta has had higher highs than anyone else recently. I think you bet on Pivetta. So you go Houck, Pivetta, and then this might sound crazy. I think Paxton and then Bayo and then Kutter. I think Paxton is over Bayo for me because Bayo gives you no depth most days.
Wow, that's interesting. We have different answers. Sammy, give yours.
Okay, Houck number 1, pretty much the exact same reason that Pat said. Even when he's not at his best, he's still getting you, passable starts. Number 2, I'm going to go James Paxton. He's the only one who hasn't hit a major fork in the road. He's coming off a good start. He has good numbers this year, so good, not great. But yeah, that's at the moment who I'm most confident in. Hopefully that changes because that's not a great place to be. No offense to James Paxton. 3, I will go Bayo because he did have a decent July. He had a good July. I don't want to take away credit from him. And like we just spoke about, he didn't look terrible in his most recent start. It just fell apart at the end. So there's some good signs at the very least. And then I guess I'd go Pivetta because he's been like good start, bad start, good start, bad start. This is just an imaginary world where he doesn't have arm fatigue. Then I would go Kutter and then like Criswell.
Wow. See, for me, right now, and this is not who I would start in game 1 of a playoff series, but right now, who takes the mound and I feel the best when he's out there, it's Bayo. So I go Bayo, Houck, Pivetta, and then I kind of watch the Kutter and Paxton starts the same right now, where I'm just kind of like every pitch, I'm just kind of hoping it doesn't get hit. And I feel like it's not that deserved with Paxton, but the stuff, just like the other guys just have better stuff. It's not even anything really against Paxton. He's like been okay, but yeah, maybe I'd go Paxton and then Kutter in that case. So, but yeah, Bayo right now, I watch him pitch and it looks different than the other guys, but I obviously overall Houck is the ace, but just right now, who do I feel more confident when they pitch? I just weirdly feel better about Bayo. I hope it doesn't last in the sense that I hope that Kutter or that Houck is like ace Houck and like right back to where he was, but it's been a little bit.
Has.
All right. Before Pat, final thought right here.
Yeah. So you're right. Bayo, I have his numbers up. He's been pitching fairly well over the past 4 weeks. He's given up a home run in 6 straight starts.
That's all of these guys' issues right now.
That's
everyone's
so
giving up a long ball.
Yeah. But anyways,
the Rangers series, like I'm pretty sure there were like 17 homers in the 3 games combined with the Sox and Rangers. Like the indoor ballpark there has like those fireworks that go off and like it's super loud and it was so annoying. Like very cool if you're a Rangers fan, but like I'm not, and it was annoying. But let's move forward to series MVP. Sox did win this series despite losing the finale. For me, I'll just go first here because it feels pretty straightforward to me. Masa Yoshida, 4 hits in the first game and a home run and a 2 RBI hit in the second game that objectively won them the game. He's my pick for series MVP.
Yep, I will follow. Same pick, Yoshida. I think there were a lot of contributors this series. It was very much a team effort in the 2 wins, but I will go with Yoshida. He's been the hottest bat. And finally, we get to give him a series MVP. We've come close a few times, but now it's official.
Big shouts.
Yeah. Also going Yoshida. Worth mentioning, Kenley, who's probably going to be my runner-up. Absolutely insane performance in game 2. But I mean, Yoshida was great for all 3 games. For me, it's easily Yoshida.
And we shouldn't go it's crazy. We actually haven't brought him up the whole episode, but Romy Gonzalez had a crazy series. And had they won this 3rd game, would have definitely received some consideration for the series MVP. He hit the 452-foot bomb in the 1st game and hit a 3-run homer in the 3rd game where the Red Sox were down 2-0 to put them up 3-2. Honestly, may have gotten that MVP. It would have been tight. I don't know. We don't have to know.
He's my runner-up.
He's been so good against lefties. Just like, what a find. Cannot believe the White Sox DFA'd him. But yeah, cannot let the episode go by without shouting out Romy Gonzalez. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I can totally see why the White Sox let him go. He's good.
He's too good for them.
Yeah. It's not a White Sox guy.
Ooh, very White Sox move.
I'll save it for my upset. I had a great nugget, but I'll save it.
So you'll have to tune in to Play Tessie tomorrow because we'll have a series preview for you tomorrow. Sox, Astros, and a good Pat Brown enough said, and a good Gordo enough said too. Little teaser for tomorrow. Good Gordo enough said coming for your episode tomorrow. Ooh. But for today, remember, before you leave, subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're not listening, if you're on YouTube, go to your podcast platform and subscribe. Apple, Spotify, Odyssey app. Hit the subscribe button and the 5-star button everywhere you're listening. We really appreciate when you guys do that. As always, on YouTube, on the WEI page, Play Tessie Playlist. Hit the thumbs up on those videos. And as always, find us on socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. For Sammy, for Pat, for Joe producing, it is Gordo here. Sox take a series against Kansas City. We'll be back in your ears tomorrow for the series preview against the Houston Astros coming to Fenway Park for the weekend. Till then, it's been Gordo here for you guys with Sammy and Pat and Joe in the back. Play Tessie, episode 110. Peace.